software. Got it. Okay. It says we're live for 6 seconds, and yeah, yeah, it's working. Think so.
Let me check from my phone. Let me. It does. It does. It does. It does. But why is it big not allowed? Version.
I'd have to change that. Give me a second. Okay, I'll fix this. Okay. Okay. We got the show on the road.
Let me use the restroom. We'll be back.
Okay. Thank you so much for your help, by the way. I appreciate it. All right. I think it's streaming. Yeah, yeah, it's live. Yeah, yeah, like it says like it's live and it's halftime. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much, bro. Appreciate it. Bye. We're good. Yo, Musa, what up? Alright, we're good to go?
I'm good. Let me just share the.
Did shared it already on your
Oh, you
account.
shared it?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. We're good. All those on the live stream, thank you so much for tuning in. We're gonna start like in just a second, so hold on and scan the QR code that's on the screen. That will be what we use to take attendance. And for you guys too, if you haven't, you could scan it, and that'll record your attendance. So you get points, you know. Hmm. Yes, sir. Where is my screen? Oh, oh, that's why this went full.
Oh no, why is it all over the place though?
It's lagged.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all. Okay. Good to go.
We can wait a minute or more.
Yeah, we'll start at 7:40. Yes. So, how are y'all, Java developers and JavaScript developer, doing today?
Dart
Flutter develop Dart developer.
React front end.
I thought you gave up Python because it's
I don't know. I feel like for a startup, Python or Node
Hmm.
pretty good.
You know, no, Java has backend too, right?
I mean, I know, but it's a lot of writing and
I mean,
giving traced out
I mean,
by.
if you know what you're writing, it shouldn't take you that long, you know.
I don't care.
that's facts. I include that in the stream because you know that's fact about Java and it's related, right? So it's related.
Right. But you don't need a string builder. Just say.
Mm.
You need a string builder.
Sure.
Let me see.
But yeah, we're gonna be diving into mobile today. So you guys, hope you guys are ready. Yo. What up?
Yeah. I might leave like early because there's enough. Like, so do I need to know anything about like how we're gonna group up?
So we'll be
Um,
actually talking that in the very beginning about project. We will have a sign up form.
Yeah,
for
well,
you guys.
yeah, yeah. We'll get into that right now. Actually. All right.
So whatever you get to know about the project, that'll be in the very beginning, so you don't have to worry about it.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Good. Okay.
I guess we're good.
All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Well, thank you guys for coming to our second mobile dev workshop. It's so good to see you guys here in person. And for those streaming online or looking at the stream online, thank you so much for joining. If you guys have not scanned the QR code as yet, which will allow for you to get attendance or to track your attendance and then to possibly get some points, you know, so you get some fire DSC merch. You know, we were just talking about the possibility of making a DSC jacket. You never know. You never know what the possibilities are, so make sure you get those points, you know. So yes, today is our second mobile dev workshop. You know, we're joined here by me, Azar, and our second mobile tech lead.
Gunza.
Yep. And we're going to be teaching you guys essentially the beginning of Android development and actually diving into code and building a basic kind of application. So let's go. So we first want to dive in. This is the agenda for today. We want to dive into the actual project. We have more information on that for you guys today, which we want to share with you guys. We'll be going through Android Studio and going through some of the key concepts that are important to Android, such as, oh wait, can you put it on there? Yeah, no problem. We'll be also going through the difference between activities and fragments, which is a key concept in Android. It's basically how you show, you know, it's how you display information in Android. And then we'll go through a live coding session here right now on building a basic kind of application, going through the different kinds of views, and we'll assign you guys some practice that you guys can do over the course of the next 2 weeks until next week, so you guys extra points as well. So yeah, that's the agenda that we have today. Next. So yeah. So actually, do you wanna start going into the project? Yeah. So yes. So we have a project here that we are going through. So yeah, we have this project that we possibly want you guys to do. Which the point of this project will be for you guys to get real world hands experience with learning Android development, and it's going to be a cool project to add on your resume. So the idea that we have for you guys to work on is actually a pretty cool idea. So I don't know if you guys have heard, but there is an annual competition called the Solution Challenge, or the Google Solution Challenge. And with that Solution Challenge, they task people from DSCs, right, DSC members, to come up with a project that addresses one out of the 17, or you could do multiple, of the 17 United Nations Development Goals. So there are a bunch of all of them here. They basically deal with, making a significant impact on the world. So one of them could be like no poverty, 7 is affordable and clean energy, and there's so many different types of them. So as much as we want you guys to work on a project, we want for you guys to work on a project that could also make an impact as well. And if you guys participate in this solution challenge, which actually starts in spring, you guys can get, excuse me, submissions, or you can actually start working on your project from now. So if you guys get a head start on like working on kind of an idea for solution challenge, you actually are ahead of the game and you have more time to actually complete your solution challenge idea and get more. And if you possibly want to change it up for the next semester, you actually have an idea of more so what you want to do. So this is a perfect way for you to get involved with a real project going on right now that you could submit in a global competition. So the Google Annual Solution Challenge is, you'll be competing against people from all over the world, which is super exciting. There's awesome projects from all over the world. And you'll be making a change within, whether you can make a change with, whether it's within your local Miami community or a global community. So we have a video here of how the solution challenge actually kind of works. So we'll play that for you guys right now. So yeah, I don't know if it's gonna play on there, but. Is it pause? Or 80? There we go. We started. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're CS students, guys.
Welcome to the Google Developer Student Club's 2021 Solution Challenge. The mission of this challenge is to use Google technology to solve for one of the United Nations' 17 Sustainable Development Goals, aiming to end poverty, ensure prosperity, and protect the planet. Win cool prizes, mentorship from Google, and swag. Get help along the way from Google Lab training events, code labs, and hackathons. Submit your solution by March 31st, 2021.
This is the former video.
We can't wait to see what you build.
Let's get started.
So as you guys see, this is an annual challenge brought up by Google every year. They haven't announced a new video for Google or for this upcoming competition, but we have confirmed from Google themselves that this will be the same theme for the upcoming solution challenge as well. And it was a similar theme the year before that as well. So yeah, so it's definitely based on making an impact in your community. So let me, yeah, and Kunzo will explain more about the project.
All right. So as I told you guys last time in the last workshop, we have some rubrics for you guys. As you can see, I told you you can get 50 points from your entire project. And because we didn't want it to be super complex, as we're, half of us or most of us are beginners here. So it kind of divided it to, if you are following the project theme, how much of a project is on a theme you picked, right? It couldn't be just like, okay, making an app for like anime streaming wouldn't count because that's not making any impact in this world, right? And then comes Figma UI, which we will be teaching you guys about in the next workshop in depth. That how clean your UI is. Your Figma files will also be counting. So, it doesn't matter that, your app isn't exactly the way you shaped it in Figma, but your Figma UI is still cleaner. That's where you kind of start from. So as you can see, it will all depend, like, how many pages you actually decided to make and how many of them you actually designed. Because, you can just, like, not design them all and still make them on the app. Just to be on, like, kind of, prototyping is important before you dive into just coding. And then how user-friendly your app is. Is it easy to navigate around your app, or is it like, I'm lost. I don't know how to go about your app now. Like, I click the sign-in button, it takes me somewhere, and then there's no going after that app, after that page, right? And then complexity. Because I'm also thinking about how beginner-friendly we want it to be, I picked 3 things we really wanted you guys to have, which we will be teaching you guys in our further, workshops. And one of them will be covered today. So if you guys have all 3 things, use of a Firebase authorization in your sign in or sign up, bottom navigation, and at least 3 pages in your application, right? But if your app only consists of 2 things, you're gonna get half a point, and if only consists of 1 thing, you're gonna get 1 point for that, right? And then your overall presentation will also count, right? Because our last workshop would be the showcase, project showcase. So we'll see how do you present your what do you call it, your project to us or people in general, right? That would be about it for rubrics. Do you want to add something?
Does anyone have any questions so far?
Oh yeah. Go ahead. Amazing question. That is what we're gonna cover today. So you're gonna learn about it in in few minutes, basically. Yes. Good.
There's a theme for the project?
Yes. So the theme is the one of the 17 United Nations developed.
So basically, one of these things. If you guys want to take a picture, go ahead.
Yeah.
I can send this slide on the channel as well.
Yeah, we'll be sending the slides afterwards. But also, something to be noted: if you want to address more than one of these, go for it. That's perfectly fine. If you want to address all of it, I mean, shoot, I mean, you're the next Messiah, bro. But I mean, but
Bring about world peace.
yeah, essentially. But you're only required to talk about one of them. My man, what up? Yeah, but yeah. So it's basically you at least try to cover one of them.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and the thing is, with the project team we just talked about, you can carry on the same theme if you want in the next semester for your Google Solution Challenge. They'll probably have the same theme as they had last year. This is from last year, right? You're late, sir.
You didn't tell him the brand name. He's the.
Sure.
David's like that. Not like David.
Sure. Right. Again, let me just
Dedication.
real quick. We just started. This is the project team you guys need to follow. Pick any one of them. Don't just try to do all of them, because then that's gonna be a problem.
Go for all the sponsor challenges, bro.
What?
This is for the solution challenge.
Yeah, but this is also gonna be their project.
Oh, for
Project them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
you
we
can
are
also- if you
trying to
wanna-
train them for solution challenge.
Yeah, or if you want to develop this further for solution challenge, you can.
wait, but then hold on,
Go ahead.
how long do you get to work on it?
Until the last
The last meeting.
meeting. I believe they have about not 36 hours, not a hackathon. We wish. I think we have about
It will be due,
11 or 10 weeks.
it will be due on November the 27th ish. That will be our final meeting together, and we'll actually be showcasing all of the projects
But
together.
you cannot reuse a project you work on now for the actual solution challenge next year?
You can.
Oh, you can?
You can actually start working on it from now.
Well, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you can continue.
Yeah, you can continue.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, basically, right? Real quick, we're not gonna go through the video again. These are the project rubrics. We just went through them. I'll go through real fast for the people who just came in, right? So this is gonna make your total 50 points. The points I talked about, right? If you wanna gain them, please try to do all of them, right? Your project theme, how much of a theme your project is following. If it's a project about anime, that will be 1. Probably you're gonna get 1 for that, right?
That solves world peace in a way. That brings everyone together.
Wait, were we making an anime app?
It's not for Google Solution Challenge.
What was it for Google?
Figma UI, how clean your UI is. We'll be going through that in next workshop. How user-friendly your application is. Complexity, these 3 things your app must have, right? One of them we'll be covering today, bottom navigation. And then overall presentation, right? How are you going to present your project and whatnot on the project showcase day? Okay, let's go forward. Okay, so sign up forms, right? If you guys were to go to the link and fill it out, we will be putting you guys in pairs. And if you guys have any preferable person you wanna paired up with, you guys can let us know, and we'll pair you guys with them.
Or if not, like we'll help you find someone to.
Yeah, this will help us match you guys up together.
And I'll send that link now in the mobile chat. Just a second, so you don't have to painfully type that all out yourself.
One, two, three.
There you guys go. And we'll also be sending these slides after the meeting as well, so you can access all the links and everything too.
Yes, sir. Is there anything on the chat?
That's what I was asking. No, not yet. So. Well, I'm on.
Okay. Okay. So I'll give you guys like 2-3 minutes to fill out.
On the mobile chat and on this.
Oh. Buster, are you joining? Are you joining us in this journey? I felt that. You know, you need to rewatch the workshop 1 video.
I'm probably gonna use the bottom navigation and the Sigma.
Firebase authorization?
Yes, that too.
These are all-
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, we can count your project on that.
Okay.
You know what?
Yes.
We'll make an exception for you.
No,
Yeah.
No exceptions for just because I'm wearing this shirt.
I mean, I guess you don't want merch, so.
That's fine. I'll
Yeah.
can you buy it?
But if anything.
No, you have to win it, right?
You have to win it. You know, that's a question someone asked me. Someone actually asked me, "Oh, can we buy the merch if we don't win?" I was like, "Oh my god."
I mean, fundraising idea.
Okay,
Well, no, that's
I guess. All right, guys.
yeah,
Any questions for sign-up forms or anything? Because we're gonna move on. We have stuff to cover.
Not, then.
Why is this thing not moving?
He did. Yeah, just hit it. I don't know.
Okay.
Better that way.
All right, cool. Android Studio. So we're gonna be showing you guys just basic things around Android Studio before we even start like just diving in and coding, right?
Yeah.
How many people here have Android Studio on their laptop? Amazing, I'm so happy. You do?
Hey.
Oh my god. Bro, you
changed-
surprised me.
man.
You do?
for the AVD,
Oh shit.
for the
Sweet.
emulator.
You can't use that in VS Code?
And then I connect VS Code to it.
You just said downloading a sample. I'm like,
And that's it.
Wait, what do you
VS Code has its own
you know,
emulator.
on the slide it says
Well, you
download a
can-
sample
I
from
mean, they
Git,
do,
get a
but
Git
you can
sample.
actually connect it
There's no
if you
Git.
have the,
those are
if you
slides
have
from
like the
online.
Android
Ah.
home set up.
I just
on your
for you to download Android
Very
Studio in
nice.
general.
You can actually set it up so that VS Code connects to that device.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, we've done that before. Yep.
What's
Yes.
stopping me from just checking all of the goals on the form?
Oh my
Visually
god.
Well, like, do it. What? Do it. I don't have
You know,
anything in
no,
mind.
no. General idea, you can check in all of them if you want to.
Yeah.
Because you guys don't have a specific idea right now.
Yeah, that's like if you have anything specific in mind, if someone else has something specific in mind, we might pair you guys together.
Yeah, it's kind of like for matching you guys up.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter. It's fine.
Yes. Alrighty. So, we're going to show you guys around the Android Studio now.
Yeah. Okay.
Huh.
So we're gonna have to switch this to. So we're gonna switch this from the slides because we're gonna be presenting from here. So I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
be going on to YouTube from here.
Okay. Where's your Android? How do you use MacBook? I'm sorry.
The superior platform.
Excuse me?
What? I thought we had to talk about this already.
What happened? Oh, no. We're going to go live here. So, whatever we're going to do here, you guys can see it here. Does that make sense? Because we cannot use Android Studio on the computer here. It's not connected to any of our laptops.
Wait a minute.
What do you?
You're not. Wait, that's go live on YouTube right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Look. Yeah.
Okay.
What's confusing here?
So you cannot. Oh, so you're doing both at the same time?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. One for people here, which is easier, and then the live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, look.
Okay.
It's working.
You can do press time.
Okay, this is actually fun thing. one of the plugins you can download. If you leave your, what do you call it, Android Studio not like using it for like 5 minutes, anime GIF will pop up.
Yeah,
This man has it downloaded.
I downloaded
for-
the shell hacks. I was going delirious. Yeah.
You could connect to share like
Wow.
this is like
You could connect.
like if it's like Bluetooth like
It's okay.
you sure?
It's just fine. It's better this way.
Oh, thank you.
But thank you so much. I think we should do that before. All right.
Start this one.
Yeah. So we're just gonna navigate you guys through or like around the Android Studio real fast. Do you want me to?
Actually, yeah, I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys around. So this actually, where you guys are looking at here, is my team submission for shell hacks. So this is kind of what we were working on, and I'll show you the final. Let me see if there's these things kind of popping up red here, so I can't show you a demo. It works. It works. If we were to connect Kunza's phone, it would have worked. But I'll show. Okay, so this is the basics of Android. So you have your project files on the left here, as you see. So these all of these different types of files and whatnot. I'll just click to go. I'll explain them real quickly. So navigating Android Studio, there's basically just like there's only a few types of files that you really will deal with. One is the obvious, that, as you would imagine, Java files. Java files are where you write your main, functionality for your application. Is where the business logic goes in and it interacts with all sorts of other, all of the other, things that you might want to implement, whether it be Firebase, if you want to implement some API, if you want to implement, I don't know, even working with your UI. The Java code is where you'll be touching. So this is where you see this in the Java over here, right? So this, I have all my classes here. Like, for instance, we were working on a machine learning application, right, to detect sign language and whatnot. So we have, like, everything here, like the camera, as well as the, all of the different UI pages, like the sign up, the login, the home. We also have, like, we have we had different things here too, as far as you guys can see. Yeah, sure. So those are what these files are. Also, if you guys have any questions, whether in chat or in person, just stop me. I don't mind to explain. So that's that. This file here, this is pretty important. Well, actually, I'll just do this later. The other type of main file that you will be working with on a regular basis is what is called the XML file, or they're basically your layout files. So your layout files is where you design your UI, and you determine using this how the application will look. So that's not a good one because this activity camera is just it's just a camera.
So with Android Studio,
Mhm.
can you pretty much code a whole Flash? Like, can you go like deeper into Android, like than just an app?
You could, I mean, you could analyze like the actual
APKs
build and
things like that?
yeah. There's all of these. Yeah, there's so much you could. Yeah, I could show you guys here for sure. You never know. Okay, so this is actually a good page. So this was the sign up page for our application. So you'll see that, so there's 3 types of views here. You'll see there's like a code view, so which is written in XML, which is just a language that's used for the UI. So yeah, it's written out in code, but the cool thing about Android Studio is that it allows for you to you could actually see, or you could actually drag and drop elements to visualize how you want your app to look like. So these things are actually dragged out from this menu. It's called the palette menu. And the palette menu allows for you to drag, like, for instance, like, it's, this is an image, which is, you could see here, an image view. Or you could see here, like, these are what are called text views. Text views are where you type in text, whatnot. I'll explain more what views are later, but this is just kind of like a huge overview of how Android Studio works, right? And there's all these different views, and you could put them here. And basically, so you can drag and drop, but if you want to get super nice and clean and exact with it, you could say for like this text, right? If you want it to be below something else, then you say, or if you say you want it to be on top of something, you could define all of that within the XML code. So it allows for you to get clean and precise with your code, which is super important, of course, So those are those. There's some other kind of files here. So those XML files will be under what is called a res files, residual files. This is not super important, but if you're importing importing additional libraries, you could do that easily within Android Studio. Like for instance, we use OpenCV for our app for the machine learning aspect. So we ported it in to here, and it's outside of the actual app. So you'll see like this. This is where your XML and your Java files are. And then this is where we put in the OpenCV here for machine learning recognition. And then there's these things here called build.gradle. So all that build.gradle is that if you are importing a class or if you're importing like from some library, whether you're using Firebase or whether you're using some kind of material design library, they'll all go in here. Like for instance, we use TensorFlow. Put in the TensorFlow here. Or we use like some kind of specific UI for generating toast, which are basically just little pop-ups that come up. Say you made a purchase, a pop-up will come from the bottom. You made a purchase. That's what a toast is, and then we just imported a fancy way of making toast. Firebase, everything you import is here. So yeah, those are those. So that's kind of like the overall kind of how those files kind of work. And I'll show you guys in real time like how you'll be interacting with those files and stuff. Yeah, and let's see. So we covered this. These are your files that once you open them, they'll pop up here on the top. There's these here as well, but I think they might make more sense once I actually make the app. But pretty much, at least these are kind of what are the most important. These allow for you to run your app and allow for you to display whatever you made in your emulator, which is something if you haven't downloaded an emulator as yet, we'll show you how to do that as well.
Does anyone have an Android phone? Awesome. So you guys can actually, like, if you guys don't want to use an emulator, because a lot of times when you use emulator, it takes a whole tool on your laptop itself. You can connect your phone, like, directly through either USB cable. You might have to do that in the beginning, and then you can directly connect through Wi-Fi. And you can just open the app on your phone and just try it out.
Also, I just realized it might be kind of lagging, but sorry about that. Sorry if what I was saying was not synced up to there. Like maybe a few seconds, I'm not sure. Once you guys understand what I'm saying.
No. So
You're like, you're just so confused.
So we have a question here. If anyone has an iPhone, oh my God. Sorry. If anyone has an iPhone and they would want to run through, if anyone has an iPhone and they want to run their Android app on it, they can't, because Simply is for Android. But if that was the case, then you would either want to build an app on Swift to use it on iOS, or Flutter for both. But we don't recommend that. But
You have one code base if you did it on Flutter versus
but no,
and Java and
they're all Android peeps, except for this person.
Well, I mean more like in the functionality wise, like if you're trying to make a multi-functional.
Again, call out.
My
own
OS program. You have to
What is
recreate it using the
My mouth's
there's
parting.
no generalized kind of method to open
For this one, no. So that's why if someone has like an iOS, they can just use an emulator on their through Android Studio and just open it on their laptops. But that doesn't stop you from opening it on MacBook. That just doesn't apply that way. All right. Go ahead. Any other questions related to emulators or anything? No? Cool.
Awesome. So let's see here. We're gonna dive into the project really soon, but just to show you guys something maybe you might find interesting. So there's all of these things here. Okay, so you guys saw that random anime GIF that was just playing on my computer. That's what's called a plugin. If you guys want to add plugins to your Android Studio, what you can do is you can go onto your top. If you have Android Studio downloaded, you go onto the top. And also, if you guys want to try these things that I'm doing, you guys might have to just make a sample project just create a new project, and then you could enter this project here. Otherwise, you guys might not be able to access the windows. So you,
Someone has a question.
Did one of you write the lab that we had to submit today, I guess?
Yeah, we did send it in the chat.
Did you guys write it? Or did
that was from Google.
Oh, okay. Because the layout for the layout of the software was different on that than it was on my computer. I guess
Oh.
it's for office hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
No worries.
You're good. But it's, if you're asking about the layout, it's also because like that's probably an old video, and Android Studio has like their version has updated.
Yeah.
So probably that's why.
Yeah, it's
So
It's updated.
if you guys go for code labs, because we'll be giving you guys to do more code labs, just so you learn outside of this workshop, because this workshop is only 15 minutes long. So there's just like limited things we can teach you guys. So when you do go to code labs, the version of the Android Studio they're using is probably an older version, so that might look a little off, but it's still the same thing. It works the same way, so don't worry about it.
Thank you. So yeah, as you can see on my screen, there's these things are called plugins. So they have some pretty cool ones. Like for instance, if you want to do Flutter, you could actually install Flutter as a plugin and work with Flutter from the get-go. There's also some of these other ones like task management. I guess that's if you want to manage your tasks, but let me see something. If you want to download Kotlin, you could do that too. This one's cool, like Kite AI Autocomplete. So instead of you typing out fully what instead of having to type out like system.out.println, there's actually this software that allows if you start you're typing out like system, it will automatically like type out like, or it'll know like, oh, you're gonna just type out like system.out.println. It'll just suggest that for you automatically, the whole thing, and you could just click it and it'll type it out for you. So it does make your typing faster. Although, I personally don't use it. I like to type out my things, because I'm a true Java-nite, right? But my brain works a little different, I guess. But it's pretty neat to use. There's things like this, like an ion progress bar. Like when your app is waiting to compile, you could have a progress bar. And I'll actually show you guys. Let me see. Yeah, it was anime. Yeah, so that's the one I downloaded. So basically, when your anime thing is when your thing is idle for like 5 minutes or so, I just like see, like that kind of just pops up, like it's just waiting for you to click on it again, and then so that kind of, there's just weird things like that. So VTubing, yeah. Yes, exactly. I'm a virtual YouTuber. Yeah. So that's that. Anyone have any questions about Android Studio in general?
Something else. Also, I don't know if you guys know, but you guys can customize your theme in a way that, what kind of theme you guys want. Like, usually we all use dark mode. I don't know why this child uses whites.
It's used it for
But-
work, and I got used to it.
But I guess
It's okay.
this is very blinding, But yeah, you guys can. I guess But you guys can also like download plugin for Material Theme UIs, which are very pretty.
Yeah, you could download themes.
And literally try out all kinds of themes, because it's fun when your environment is really nice and you like it.
Yeah, you could also
We love coding.
if you want a default kind of one, you could go into system preferences or preferences, appearance of behavior. You can, if you just want a default dark one, you could set it here using the theme. But me, I'm more of a light thing kind of guy, Yeah. So you could do it that way. So yeah. Anyone have any questions before I dive into what we're kind of going to do?
Any questions? No? Awesome. So we're gonna learn some more stuff about, can you turn to presentation? So we're gonna dive into more about Android, right? So there are two things which we'll be mainly working around with. One is called activity, and the other thing is called a fragment. Now, what is an activity and a fragment, right? They're actually, they look pretty similar, but they are very different two things. Activity is something which is not dependent on fragment. You do not need activity to work if there's fragment in it. But with fragment, is very dependable on an activity, right? Because you need an activity to exist for fragment to actually work or to exist.
So also just you guys might be wondering what the hell are either of these things. They're basically just like a screen. If you want to just show a screen like a home screen, use an activity. Or if you want to show like I don't know, if you just want to even write a piece of text like "Hi mom," like and then just have that on a screen, you use an activity. But there's also an alternative thing you could use. This is a fragment. And it's kind of explained there. But basically, yeah, you could create activities. They're the standard way on how you create a screen. There's also things called fragments, which are more lightweight and allow for you to switch between screens super easy. But in order for you to create a fragment, you do need an activity because it has all of the basic infrastructure on running an application. So yeah.
And you can actually make an entire app just using activities too, but it's not recommended. Just because it takes a lot of toll on your application. For it to run, it will take years at that point. Basically. Like, it's probably not even gonna run at that point, just because, like, apps are pretty heavy themselves. And you would want to use, like, as lightweighted of stuff as you can. So we'll learn how to and where to use fragments and where to use activities, right? Let's go. Yes, but it's important you use both, basically. I mean, you can't use fragments without activities to begin with, right? All right, so there's something called activity lifecycle in Android. There are certain things which are on it, which we will be using as we go. Some stuff called on create or on start. Do you want to say something? Yeah, like on resume. So these are exactly what they're actually talking about, right? As you can see on create, if you want to create something, you'll be creating under that method, right? And something like, on destroy, or like that would not really be something we'll be working with, but that is something that exists and we will be working at some point when our application gets more complex, right? Do you have something to add to it?
So yeah, with this life cycle, is essentially it. So the you have access to methods that basically allow for you to access each stage where the application is running, or at each point of the process, right? So they have like on create. This is just basically when your app just starts. On create, the application is created. So essentially, if you want things to happen as soon as the app is started, right, then you would put it in on create. Like for instance, if you have your layout for your app, you typically want to put that in on create, because typically, I mean, think about it. When you have your app starting, do you want your screen to be empty? Probably not, right? So you want to put all of that stuff in like an on create method, which is typically really the main one we're mainly going to use. But this is still important to mention, so you guys understand that like there's more than that. But basically, that's basically going to be the main thing that you use, because it's the first thing as soon as you create your application, right? Everything's created from there. If you guys you know Java, it'll basically serve as your main method in Java. I don't know if that makes sense. Like when you start your main method in Java or a typical Java application, all of your code starts running there, right? Like for instance, if you have like a scanner that's looking through the and you're looking for the user to input like a number, you put that stuff in your main method, right? Or if you just want to say hello world, you just put that in your main method, right? This basically serves as the same thing. And there's all of these other ones which I have literally never used. On destroy, I don't want to destroy my app. I like for it to be stable. Self-destruct the app, why not? On resume, on start, on restart. There's all of these, but you mainly will need on create. Although when you're working with fragments, as you'll see, you probably will use more of these. It'll depend, but.
So let me ask you, when you have like a server not server authentication, server connection
You could use onCreate. But although that might just be a method of its own. Like for server authentication, like yeah, you might like like if someone logs in and you have a login method and you wouldn't create that on your login
It's more
method.
like I remember some games nowadays to battle like you going offline and not getting their advertisements. Now they make you make the connection verify whether it's connected to the server instead of you actually being able to play offline.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking about that. Like
Yeah, that makes sense.
that's like locking your screen pretty much.
Yeah.
So you can.
Then if it's actually locking the actual application or the actual screen, then it might include one of these other ones. If it actually does affect the phone or the application as a whole, then yeah. Or if it's not just internal, if it affects the overall app, then yeah. Then you would probably use something else. I'm not sure which one, but yeah, you could.
Yeah. Right. Any more questions before we dive into our activity? All right. Is there any questions online?
Hermes said, "Let's go." Thank you, Hermes.
Okay. Thank you. We love the support. All right. So, have you guys ever wondered how the bottom navigation works on these apps? So, let me actually point out what the bottom navigations are. This is called a bottom navigation. This is called a bottom navigation. And oh, I have an exam tomorrow. Oops.
That's in real time.
And
Yes,
we
that is
do
tomorrow.
have our game night on Friday. So please do join us. But yes, so we'll be learning how to create our own bottom navigation. Remember, that's also one of the mandatory things you need to have in your application.
Yes.
Questions, yes.
Yes. All right. So does it come default the way that the back button on the actual phone screen works? You know, like how it has the sub.
Oh, this thing?
Yeah.
So
Is there a way to program that?
you can make it, but you probably wouldn't put it in this area. It would be probably like, okay, for instance, let me see. This is what do you call it? An application, right? A page, right? You probably put it on the top somewhere. Oh, like to go back button type of thing. But because my phone is an Android, this is a default.
Right.
Usually all Androids have default like that.
For example, I know that the FIU website is or the app is terrible.
It's
You didn't hear that stream. You didn't hear that.
When you hit the back button on the phone,
Yeah.
it takes you out of the app.
Yeah.
When you hit the back button on the app, it takes you back one page.
It takes you out of the app?
Yes.
Yeah.
It logs you out. You gotta log back in. You gotta redo the process.
Okay, a horrible, not a horrible app, but okay. Yeah, you know what? If they wanted to fix their app, right, they would probably want to put a go back kind of button, like an arrow to go back, on the top right.
They do. I'm just saying, like, I'm so used to hitting the back button on the bottom.
Oh, yeah, that's what I do for all my apps,
And then
honestly.
it just logs me out.
Well, for
Yeah.
iOS, you are obligated to put a back button on the app.
Oh, really? But where is it in this one?
Oh,
They don't.
No, it's not in Canvas. It's on the actual FIU app.
FIU.
Yeah.
Oh, that application. Oh my god, I hate that application. Oh, I thought you were talking about Canvas. Oh, that app is laggy. I don't want to say it. I wasn't gonna say anything, okay? I'm just saying that I was kind of like good.
If bottom navigation doesn't really fit the design of our app, can we just put it elsewhere, but it's still accessible by the user?
You could do it as a toolbar on the top. Maybe that might work.
Yeah, you can also do that, like what they have done kind of on the top with the, notifications and stuff. You guys can do it there too, but what kind of app would it be that bottom navigation doesn't suit?
Let's say it just takes up like
Too much space.
like 2/5 of all the screen, and then there's only space for like a bar on the side.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
you can actually do that. Yeah,
That's
that could work
the same kind
actually.
of concept.
Yeah, they're actually
We're asking for the rubrics.
Oh, yeah. No, you can do that. And there's actually something also like, I don't think so we'll be covering it in this semester, I believe. but there's something, a floating kind of button, where if you were to click that, all of these options can show up and you can toggle around them.
Yeah, like
So-
yeah, like
Floating
It's
action
just
button.
button.
Fab.
Yes. Yeah, something like that basically. Yeah, you can use any of that as long as you have something like similar to this basically, right? Yeah. As long as you know how to make it too, you're good to go. But yeah, you have to show it in your app so I know, you know, or else I wouldn't. Little too small brain, you know. Alrighty, let's start build. Where's the next slide? Okay, so let's start building our own app now, right?
So I'll be okay. So I've been assigned, volunteered to build the application. So that's okay.
I will be helping you guys
Okay. Yeah.
around the room.
Yeah. So you guys are encouraged, actually required now, but it's important. You guys should.
Ender Studio. It's
That's all
okay.
good.
It's gonna take a while for it to download right now.
That's okay. If
It
anything,
would be
try to
okay.
follow along.
Can you like share it with someone? Like since it's someone. Johnny?
Sure. So my only problem is I downloaded for Linux, so I might not have the same installation.
Oh,
Yeah. And Linux has its own, I don't know. It didn't make me install. I just downloaded it. So it should be the same thing?
yeah. Actually, you can move that. That's
Interesting. Oh, love that book.
correct. CTC. Yeah.
Oh.
PTSD.
No, you're good. All right, no problem.
do it on my computer.
All good. No worries. Okay, we're gonna dive in right now. So, we want you guys. I don't know if the stream can see me, but so one of the main things that we want to give you guys in these mobile workshops is real world experience. So besides just actually kind of coding the application, we want to teach you guys a few real life world skills as well. So how many of you guys, raise your hands if you guys have used GitHub before? GitHub before? Who feels like they're a master at GitHub? No? Okay. If you guys need a refresher or and anything like that, I'll give you guys a quick kind of refresher that might be useful to you guys. Okay. So and then so what we'll do first, and you guys can follow along the same kind of way. I'm not gonna try to go too super intense, and I'm also not touching the terminal, so you guys. There's ways that you yeah, I got you. I'm not trying to put you guys through hell. There's ways that you could use GitHub without ever having to touch the terminal, which is what we're going to do today. Okay. So first, we'll navigate to github.com. And so we're here on GitHub. I could go into a full on how to use GitHub, but actually, for those those of you who don't know GitHub, watching this screen, GitHub is a place where you could essentially host applications applications in what are called repositories. And repositories where you store applications, and they're public, for use. So it is what is called open source. So you could view other people's projects, kind of use some of their code, improve your own apps, and it serves as like an online community for coding. It's awesome. You could view other, like for instance, this is my main page here. You see all of my, all my friends and whatnot, all the apps that they're working on. Super cool to see who you're following and things like that. Like he's following this dude, super cool. Or Sunreet, made a machine learning study plan. That man is a machine. Yeah, but we're more concerned right now, not on the social aspect, but actually making projects and uploading to GitHub. It's important that you learn how to use GitHub because it serves as a way that you could actually put your projects on there and showcase them as a portfolio, and that's what gets you hired. So that's why I want to show you guys how to quickly use GitHub. So what we'll first do is we'll make a repository. I'll press make a new repository, and if I'm going too fast, please slow me down. We're gonna make a new one. We're just gonna call this example app DSC. Call it whatever you want. This is literally what's coming to my head. I did not really plan like a name or anything like that. I'm just doing it on the spot. Yeah. So I'm just gonna make this private for now. because I don't want everyone just getting a bunch of notifications. Yeah, so that's all that's required for it. So you make the app name, and then you can make it public or private, and then you create your repository.
So I have a question because I'm terrible with GitHub, and usually when you want to commit to a project, you gotta fork it first, yeah? Is that technically always the case, or do you have to pull
You
commit
could
and send?
you could fork the project, or you could, yeah, if you fork the project, then you could. So there's two ways of doing it. You could actually just pull the project in itself, and you could push directly to that project, or you could fork it, and then you could push to that specific one on GitHub, and then you could have request that one for the original project to take a look, like, oh, here's my version of the project, is this okay? And then if they say it's okay, then they will merge whatever you had to their project.
Okay, so the original owner always has to accept.
Basically, yeah. So that's a fork. So a fork just creates a clone of that project. It's just a duplicate, and then you make changes to the duplicate. If you you could also just download directly the source code, and you could push directly to that application. But depending on the settings, you might not be able to. Yeah. Or so, for instance, yeah. Actually, if someone specifically did not give you access to the repository, you will need to fork it if you want to make changes. But for instance, for our application, since I added everyone to I added them individually, everyone's able to freely push and pull as they wish. Right? So like if you're working on a hackathon, you won't have to fork. You would just typically add everyone to your project. Then you could push and pull as you freely wish.
Great, because I have that issue where for the hackathon, they
Mhm.
sent me the link, I accepted the invite,
Mm-hmm.
and for some reason my name doesn't appear on the list of
Of contributors. Yeah.
Well, I have I
You
pushed
pushed.
and pulled, but it just doesn't show. And he says that he's not getting, like, the person who always tells me that he's not getting any requests. So I don't know if it's an issue on my end or.
We could check it out. Maybe it's a merge. Something's weird with the merging. But we could check it out. But yeah, so everyone okay with this step here so far? Whoever's following along? Okay, awesome. So all we will do here from now, so you have this setup stuff here. What you could do now, so what we will do is that we will copy this link, this https github whatever. This is what we will use to link the GitHub to our Android application. This connects to the link, right? So with that downloaded, now see that okay, that's another random one. So what we'll do now is that we will go onto File, or actually maybe where you guys haven't made it yet. So I'll just exit out of it completely. So it's all kind of the same thing. So what we can do here is that yeah. So there's a few ways how you can make a project originally. You could either create a new project, open an existing project. That's all good. But what we're going to do is actually make it from version control, immediately creating the link between GitHub and Android Studio. So what we'll do here, press from version control, make sure Git is selected. And then if you press it, you could make a URL, and you can clone it. If there is kind of an issue for you guys, because if you guys don't have GitHub immediately set up, then you might want to just forget this step entirely and just, if you guys are having issues with the GitHub, that's fine. You could just create a new project, and it will work the same way. But if for those of you that do have GitHub already set up on your computer, whether you've used it or not,
What is that? GitHub's desktop or?
this is like if you've set up GitHub already. So yeah, yeah. So if you have downloaded GitHub already for a previous project, or you don't remember where you used it, this will work perfectly. Otherwise, if you haven't really used it before, we'll probably do a separate video on how to fully set up your device with GitHub, because wouldn't be enough time right now to show all of that. We want to show you guys also the Android code, but we'll do a separate video showing you guys completely how to set it up. If you guys aren't able to link it right now, there's no issue. You could create a new project, and in an office hours we could show you as well how to link it. That's perfectly fine.
When do you guys have office hours?
Glad you asked. Mondays and Wednesdays, we have office hours, 3:30 to 5 on Mondays, 2 to 3:30 on Wednesday. So we had one earlier today.
And
Yeah.
3:30 to 5 on Wednesdays we have
You didn't have to say
Oh yeah, he teaches all the essential data structures. So we're teaching the projects right now. If you want to get that job, you also need him for the second half of it.
This is where our disagreements come in during Python.
There are spats
There
of
are
Java
spats.
versus Python. There are.
It's just like it would have so much to write in the code with Java.
So what I will do now, I will. So for those of you guys doing the GitHub, I'll press clone. So clone essentially creates that link between the two. My God, why do you keep popping up? Okay, stop. 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 Okay. Okay. So yeah. What we will do now is that workspace XML. Okay. Project. Okay. What I might need to do first, if we're connecting the GitHub directly, I might need to. Just link. Oh, yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm bending down a lot. No problem. Okay. So if anything, okay. So we run into an issue here. So I'm kind of coding along with you guys at the same time. So you guys will see how I also deal with errors and everything. I'm not trying to sugarcoat the entire process so you guys don't think like, oh, he doesn't get into errors. Like, why am I running into errors, right? So you guys got to suffer along with me too, but not for too long. I'm not trying to spend too long on these kind of things. So we're reading into this here. What I believe we needed to do was include a file from the beginning because this is completely empty. So if anything, I might just click into getting a README. Okay. So I might just include help. Help me, please. Java. So I might do something like that, right? Waiting for that to upload there. Yeah, so you have a README. It's completely pointless, but you have a README. And then what you could do from here. Yeah. So what you could do here is that you could. So now you've made a change on GitHub, right? You've added a README. What you could do now, if you want this on your laptop, because it wouldn't automatically do it for you, what you could do, you press Update Project, which you will see in a second. I'll wait for it to. Yeah, so Update Project, and then merge incoming changes. So that'll just it'll update the master has no track branch. What? You know what? I mean, okay, the GitHub setup was a little bit more complicated than I thought. At this point, I think I'm just gonna. I don't want to skip you guys out on the Java. I think I'll just make a new project, and we'll just call it from that. I will set up. I will show you guys how to use GitHub in a video. I'll send out a video for you guys, and also in office hours, I'll show you guys personally as well. Just don't want to take up too much time for what we're actually supposed to do here. Yeah. So if anything, we'll just make a new project instead. So sorry about that, guys. Also, for people in the stream, we're just going to make a new project instead. So once it's linked, yeah. So yeah, here's the other way on how you can make a project. You guys saw the original starting screen, right? You could also make a project from the actual Android Studio in itself. New project. And this is typically the main way you'll build a project anyway, so it's better I show you this too. So you have all of these screens that you have here. Like you could start up with a login screen, a settings screen, all of these. Typically, I like to just keep it plain and simple because they give you a bunch of code and I don't know how all of it might work, right? If you want just a basic starter app, just choose an empty activity. And I'll call this my I don't know, my awesome GDSC project. Okay, there we go. This is what we want to see. Okay, so that might take some time. The project files are just building right now, but it always pops up. I'm gonna definitely take off that thing. Keep it. All right, but okay. So this is, we have our basic application.
Also, David said light team here.
Was that Dave?
David, yeah.
Dover. He doesn't know the true powers we possess. We can see light themes. But yeah, so we have our basic application here. And if we wanted to run this, essentially, like if we want to see how the code will run, if you guys were able to follow the tutorial from the previous code labs, you would have had to set up your emulator as well. But that's okay. If you don't, Kunza could probably try to help you out. But for if anything, like trust, if you guys are following along with the code, trust that it should more or less work kind of the same if you don't have the emulator set up. But if you do want to accurately test, you have this project up here. Or sorry, you have these icons up here. All you have to do is press Run App, and it'll jump out to your emulator. Or if you have your Android phone and I've connected it successfully, you could do the same thing. There's a whole, there's a few steps that you can take to actually easily connect your Android phone to your laptop. Whether you wanted to do it using USB, which is probably the easiest way, or how Kunza does it, she does it using Wi-Fi / Bluetooth. There's that way too. So that'll take some time to start. So I'll click into that when that actually works. Okay, so yeah, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna show you guys real-time coding. Okay, all right. So one thing I will say as a software engineer is that you're not expected to memorize code by any means. I feel like, I mean, from when I was working in the industry and what I was taught by my mentors and stuff, is that, yeah, you're not supposed to memorize code in any case. And if anything, it's recommended that you whether you're working within your company's own code base, right? You could see, or you work your own code base, or whether you're just an independent contributor. If you're stuck on if you don't remember how to do something, you don't feel bad that you don't remember how to build like a button, or you don't remember how to build a whole page. There's online resources for that, and that's perfectly fine for you to use them, like things that are available online, and especially within your own company too. If someone has built the button already, if someone's done something specific, use it. It's there for you already. And that also helps for you to become a faster developer as well. But the main thing that's important is that you understand how these things work as well, which is what we're going to do today. So one really awesome resource that I use for building Android applications, so I don't memorize precisely how to do all of these things. I feel like as a developer, it's important to know how the things kind of connect and understand overall, rather than having to like memorize the nitty gritty. You're not learning anything by memorizing. You're more so, you feel like you learned something, but that's not really what's important. So there's so you guys probably heard of this organization at FIU. They're called Codepath. And I actually, when I was in Facebook for my sophomore internship, I had to go through what was, for Facebook University, we had to go through the same Android course as well. And I had came across this resource, and it's free for everyone online to use. It's called Codepath Android Cliff Notes, and they're really good. They're really good if you want to just quickly look up, like, how do you build, like for instance, what we're going to do, a bottom navigation view. Or if you want to build like a simple UI or any kind of thing, like it's insane how much there is. Like for instance, views and layouts, like how to use edit text, right? Like if you want to build a specific kind of edit text, it gives you a guide on how to do that. Or if you want to, do this specific thing, it gives you on how to do it. Or if you want, let's see, if you're working with images, which can be kind of tricky sometimes, like image view, it gives you help on how to do all that and all the specific things like that. So this is one guide that I really recommend, and we'll also use this for bottom navigation view as well. So how we use it, look up navigation view. And I actually had used this for the internship too, like, or not internship, the hackathon this past weekend myself. I'll send this to you guys too, so you guys can follow along as well. Give me a second. This is, oh Lord. Okay, here we go. Mobile dev. There we go. So you guys have that there as well. Where is everything? Okay, perfect. So here. So this shows you how to do bottom navigation view, but I'll be explaining along the way as well. And then we'll be connecting it with our own application as well. Right? So what we need to do, first of all, so what they're saying here, okay, so how you build a bottom navigation view, essentially first you set up the actual UI layout for it. So does anyone remember how what kind of files are associated with UI? Anyone want to take a guess?
Is it the XML file?
Yes. Yep. Nice work. That's Musa, yes. Exactly. Musa said that was the XML files, which we'll be working with now. So, so essentially, so we could first go on here. Also, if you guys are able to, I'm just going to be kind of copy pasting because it will take forever if I literally write all of this out. If you guys want to, as a practice though, if you guys are able to type out some of the code at least, I would highly recommend that, so that would help you try to remember kind of more of what you're doing. But yeah, so what?
I just want to add one thing to it. Yes, when you are coding, you will be looking up a lot of things because you're not expected to like memorize each and every code too, right? You just need to know where you're going to use it. But we highly recommend it to you guys, whoever's beginner or not, to type out the code when you receive it. Just because when you type it out by yourself, you would slowly and gradually like kind of fitting it in your brain. So a lot of times you might not even need to look it up, and you can just like type half of things and it'll show up which one you gotta use it, you know? So for now, he's just gonna copy paste it, but maybe for now you guys can do so just because we have a small amount of time, but for project, please try to type it yourself. Not blindfoldly, you can open a website and do it with it, but just, yeah.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. So my app did end up compiling eventually. So as you guys will see here, it just shows hello world on the title or in the middle there. And why does it do that? Because, which is actually perfect timing now. If we go into, so we have the res files, that's where I mentioned XML files are. If we go into layout, which is, if we think layout refers to layout of the app. If we click into the activity main, this class that we're looking into right now is called the main activity. And that's normally where, that's basically the, I mentioned the main method of the app. This is essentially that class that contains that main activity. That makes sense. So this is essentially the start of your application. So, and every activity has a layout associated with it. So, as we see here, that is the case as well, because we're given an activity main XML file, which has hello world, which the code is here. So it had this text view. So it had this, so this is engulfed by what is called a layout. Layouts essentially are, they're basically like, they give you like a space to create UI upon. There's different types of layouts. Won't get too much into them right now, but just know that this is just basically saying, hey, this is my page. I'm gonna put stuff in it. And what did they put? A text view. Remember, text view is how you just, if you wanna just show text view. I wanna view text, right? Text view. And they said the text is hello world. They hard-coded it. And that's it. And the reason it's in the middle, because constraint bottom of parent, wrap content. Yeah, okay, with this specific layout, they made it go into the middle, but if I were to change this to a different layout, it might go on top, right? So what we'll do here is that we have this file here. Yeah, so we'll put this here in our activity main file, because remember what I said about what Rakunza was talking about in terms of activities and fragments. So what we're going to do here really fast is that we're going to have this activity, and we're going to have the bottom navigation view in here. And then when you click on the bottom navigation view, or each of the different buttons, you guys remember there's like probably like 3 buttons or 2 buttons, it'll open up a new fragment. That is very overview what's happening. Might not make any sense right now, but quickly get into it. So that's there. So we're going to essentially replace that code, that's just starter code, with this code. Okay, so that's all we just did right there. And you guys will see that happen just now. So once that, yeah, so we essentially replaced all of that former code with this new code. And that's perfectly fine, because we don't want that hello world anyways. Okay. So what we'll do from here, we're getting this red error here on the this menu thing. It's cannot resolve symbol menu/menu bottom navigation. Why is that the case? Because we didn't make one. So, well, how can we resolve that? Well, it gives us an option to create a menu resource file, menu bottom navigation view, which we will need to do in order to create this thing. So, which we will do exactly right now. So we'll click on it. It's fine to leave it the way it is. And that'll pop up in a second. Yeah, all you're going to do is just press OK when it comes up there. Okay. So when that logs in, what we'll do is that we have this other code here. This is essentially, yeah, so I'll explain really fast what this is. Yeah, so we have this menu and items within it. So the menu will be the bottom navigation menu. So a menu is a way for you to select different kinds of items. Like you can have, in Android, you could have a menu page coming from the side and you have different things to click on. Or for instance, what we have here, we have a menu, or a way to click between different pages and stuff, which will be on the bottom. So that's just defining that this will be this is basically a clickable set of options. That's all this is saying here. That's what a menu is. You can click between different buttons and it'll do something different. And then the items, all those are those buttons. What do you want the buttons to be? You could define them here. So there's a default sort of items here, but we'll change these up a little bit. So we'll go ahead and just use the starter code that they have there right now, just to get us going. And excuse me, please, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna open this out a little bit. So I have my Java file. So yeah, you'll see how it's looking kind of there right now, looking kind of crazy. Let's actually do these things right now. So we have these 3 different menus. Let's try to create these sorts of things here right now. So what we can do is that if we want to just create these default drawable icons, we could just do that. And one thing I will mention, Android Studio is pretty powerful, so you can it's able to detect errors pretty easily or pretty quickly. So what you can do, so it says create drawable resource file, I see favorite white, then you can click on that, or more so. Actually, we're not going to do that. We're going to do something a little different. My apologies.
How did you create a new tab, new page?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Like, how did you create like a menu bottom page, bottom navigation?
Oh, good question. So if you go back into your activity main page, if you hover over your view, or if you hover over this, you should see it should be red. Is it red for you by chance? like this line here, which we'll highlight in a second.
Yeah, it's kind of delayed on here.
It's pretty delayed, yeah.
Let me see if I can go to the live.
That's as live as gonna be. It's fine. Yeah. Were you able to get it working, Michelson?
Which issue did you resolve for the menu bottom navigation?
It was here. It was this. So it's inside your activity main.
Oh no, not okay. That one, but like once you had to make the new file, the
Yep.
menu bottom file, there were errors within that one.
Yep. Yeah. So we're gonna address that right now. Yeah. We got you. So what we're gonna do is that okay. There's two types of errors happening here right now. They're basically just repeated against these three: icon and a title. When you have a button, you want it. When you're on your bottom navigation, there's basically two things going to be associated with it. It's going to be an image and a text associated with it, right? That's what like I could show you guys, like for instance here, like the image. So those are the images, right? The home screen, the search bar. It's this is such a pain. You'll see in a second. So like the home screen, the search bar, the video, and the shopping mall, those are like the icons. And then the text will just be some text on the bottom of those, essentially. So as you guys can see there. I hope that kind of made sense. Yeah. Yeah, I hope that made sense. Let me open this back up. Give me a second. Okay. Yeah. So what we'll need to do is basically just make those icons and those titles. For the purpose of this right here, right now, I'll just show. I might not even do 3. I'll just show 2. Yeah. So we could delete one of those just to speed up things a bit. But it would be kind of pointless to just have it with 1 because I want to show you guys how to be able to switch between the two. So I'm just gonna leave 2 up at least. But really quickly, what we can do is that if we want to make an image, what we could do, we right-click on our screen. So right-click on the left-hand side, which will pop up in a second. You're basically just gonna right-click. You could even right-click anywhere on the drawable folder or just anywhere, like right there. You would want to do a new vector asset. So you will go into new vector asset. And so when you get here, you could basically make your own image that you could have associated with that button. There's a bunch of them already given to you from the Android library. As you could scroll down, there's so many, right? So they were saying, I just want to give this kind of a random one. Which one looks just kind of dope? Let me find something. I don't know. This one looks cursed. I love this one. You're gonna see it in a second. Right. It's called childcare. And yeah. So that one's perfect. Yeah. So we're gonna use that one, and then we'll leave it as default. So you could change the color and whatnot of it too. Perfectly up to you. You could customize your app. Shoot, I'll make it red. Why not? Even more cursed. We love it, right? So we'll just leave it like that. Go next, and then save it. So finish, right? And then if we want to use that icon that we just made, so what we made is called a drawable, and a drawable is something like a vector asset or an image, essentially, right? An image that you can use within your application wherever you want. So if we want to use this asset, this image that's within my drawable folder, because it's an image, you do @drawable, right, like that, or something of that sort. Drawable, yeah. It'll pop up in a second. Just bear with me. You do @drawable, right? The same way how it was before. And then if you do the slash, you will see that your childcare or your child is going to show up as an option. So, and you'll see, yes, there we go. It pops up, the cursed child baby is on top there somewhere. The child, the red child, yes. And this, okay, so that's how you fix that first issue. And the second issue, you could either just create, you could either hard code a piece of text like, this is a child, right? Right? You could do something like that. Or, which is actually more recommended in the industry rather than just hard coding, is as much as I said that there is a res file, right, for layouts and stuff like that, there's also files for all sorts of design aspects. So, which includes the menu view and also includes things like strings and numbers and all things like that. Like say you have, you want to save a string, right, for the name of your company, Matt Company, right? It's Matt Company. But then say it gets bought over by Buster, by David. The name of the app will then change to Buster Company. But you don't want to change that name on every single piece of line of code, like everywhere it is. That's probably thousands of lines of code if you just left it like, if you just said like, oh, the title is like specifically Matt Company, right? Or like you just say like, you hard code it everywhere, right? Putting your strings in this string file, which I will pop into right now, you can access going into, there's a values folder there, over there. If you press it, there will be a strings. And you'll see that there is a section for adding whatever strings that you want. And you could add whatever string you want there. So like for instance, what we could just do right here, child, my child. So this will allow for you to easily, use this variable wherever you want. You just call like the child. Like, it's kind of like a variable essentially. Instead of hard coding it within your UI, you just call like the string from this string thing, and then if you ever make a change in this string file, that will be reflected in all of your UI wherever. So it makes it simple and easy for you to update values. And as much as there are strings, there's also colors, themes, all sorts of things. So if you ever want to just change the theme of your app or anything, just define your values in these files beforehand, and it's super easy for you. A new mistake, like what when I was first building app, I would just hard code everything. Like I would just say like in each specific page, oh, I want this to be red, or I want this to be that. Instead of saying, I want you to be this variable. I want you to be, I want you to be equal to this value. And then say like your boss or something, right, wants you to change the color of something. Well, shit, I had to change everything now. That's a whole day of change. When you could have just you just change it in there, and it is reflected everywhere else. So it saves you a lot of time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every instance, very
Exactly. You don't have to change it ever. You just change it once. You don't have to change it thousands of times. Change it once. That's a best practice. That's what you expected to do in the industry actually. Like even for simple strings, my manager forced me to put everything like in the strings file. But you know what? It was worth it. Like I mean, imagine like some change that neither my manager nor me would have seen. Like I would have had to go back and change all of that code. And also you have to consider that you're not the only one using your code in the industry. Thousands of other engineers possibly, or depending how the size of your company is, will be using your strings as well. So you don't want to hard code strings or just set it for what you think it should be, because someone else might be completely confused on what that string would be.
API keys too.
API keys as well. All sorts of values, everything. Like there's like all sorts of, for API keys, you would set that as a variable within your class. Like you set it like on the top, like you set it as a constant on top, yeah. But not to dive too much into that. So so for because we made that the child thing, that child string, we'll just do that there. And I'm just gonna hard code this one just for the sake of time, like hello. That string, and then I'll quickly make a drawable for that second one. So I'm basically gonna make an image for the second button, and it'll show up in a second, I guess. My apologies for that, it's not syncing up exactly. I wish it would just sync up now. Also, if I am going too fast, just let me know. Yeah, I'm just gonna make, just gonna find one more cursed image. This one, another face.
Oh no.
And this one will be.
He's just breathing recklessly.
This one will be, I don't know. I wish I could do gradients on here. We're gonna make it lime green. I'm feeling like Sprite today. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this one is hello. And I forgot what, I made a mistake. I don't remember what I called it. Oh, well, we'll see now. That's a bad thing. You just saw a bad thing there. I don't even remember what I just called it. Oh, it's face. Yeah. No, it has a parent now. That's its parent to the side.
Adoption.
Yeah, adopted. Yeah. And all that I had done there, so it should be updated on the screen. All that I had done there is actually what was done here on the thing, but I didn't look at that. So that's like something you kind of get used to making after a while. Like you don't have to like look that up and stuff. But for the purposes of this, like you could follow along with that, and it'll teach you how to do it. And if you wanted to set it to white, I prefer not. I want it to be cursed. So I'm just gonna leave it as different colors. And yeah, so we're actually almost done. So all that we need to do left is actually make our bottom navigation view. So we've actually made the UI for it. We just need to connect it now with actual real life code. So what we'll do, we'll go to, here. So there's this Java code here, which allows for you to make a bottom navigation view. So essentially, we're gonna make this in an activity main method, which is our main file, where we'll have the basic running app code going. So there's a lot of red things there. Easy way to get through those. If you have Windows, if you have Mac, you could do, I don't know what that, I think that's an option key. That's an option key and return. And so that's why that error was an import error. So you automatically did not put those files in, or your system automatically did not have those files ready for you to make that bottom navigation view. So you just need to import it or just include them in your file. That's all that is doing. That's what an import is. Importing or bringing in outside files for you to be able to use them, right? So that's what this is. And if you're unfamiliar with Java, I'll explain it kind of thing too. So this is essentially making the bottom navigation. What this is here, find view by ID. Okay, so bottom navigation view equals bottom navigation view. What does that mean, right? So this is essentially this is calling from a class, which predefined how this should work, bottom navigation view. And it sets it equal to find view by ID. What we were just discussing before was a view, the bottom navigation view. So if you want to link the XML to the Java code, you write this, or I'll even do it from scratch. Find view by ID. Typically, if you're connecting any source of UI from your XML code to your Java code, you write find view by ID, and that automatically links it. because you'll see in the you'll see here that this actually had an ID, which was called bottom navigation in the XML file, which, yeah. So you see that it actually did have an ID, that over there, which is what you will use to, that's the only thing you can actually use to link between the two files together. That's what it's called, right? So do that in our main activity. ID. I think it's r.id dot. Still got it. Okay. Excuse me. So sorry. So if you call find view by ID, then you do that, and then you provide the name, which is R. So R stands for just the resource library. So it's r.id. You're calling the ID. Dot the name of the ID. Bottom navigation view. Or bottom navigation. My apologies. Right. So yeah. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. Awesome. So what we'll have next is this is deprecated here, but it's still fine to use because deprecated doesn't mean that the code's been deleted. It just means, hey, you probably shouldn't use this code. It's not supported anymore. There's probably newer code. But we're going to ignore that because we know it works. We assume it works. But you typically check up APIs online or documentation online to see if what's the current use or what's more recommended to use. But this is perfectly fine for our purposes at the moment. We see we have these errors here. Non-null, import class, menu item, import those classes. So again, bringing in the imports as well. Yeah, so you see all of those got resolved, and we will remove this last one here, this action thing, because we only have 2 buttons, so we'll remove that as well. I realized that you all, yeah, so that you guys can kind of see it. But yeah, everyone good? Everyone? Okay, so let's. Okay. Go short. Okay, no problem. Yeah. Okay, so I guess we'll officially end the live stream for those that kind of do have to go. I mean, or.
No. We'll be going for like 10 more minutes. We just have to cover a little more. But we're done with bottom navigation, right? Or is it still going?
We still have to make the pages.
We still have to make pages. Okay.
Well, if anything, what we can do, we could do something pretty. We could do something simpler. We don't have to. What we could do, instead of flipping between pages, that might take some time. We want to show you guys how you actually just use the buttons. So instead of just making pages, we'll just print out something to our console, and that way I'll show you guys how to use the console as well. So I'm just gonna write this here, and then I'll explain it, what I'm doing. You guys can also follow along. Okay. So I'm gonna be creating 2 print statements, one under each of the case statements. So what I was gonna get into now, so what we have here, just deciphering the code further, is we have this function on navigation item selected. All that this does is that it allows for you to select which of the items that you want to use. So or it allows for you to select the item which you picked, right? So you have a switch statement in there. What is a switch statement? A switch statement, all it allows for you to do is, literally in the name itself, switch between all the different types of, in this case, buttons that there are, and allows for you to choose the correct one. So, so you have, so a switch statement is made up of two things, cases, which are the different types, and then there's a default value. What if you don't run into any of the different cases? You default to something. That's all that is. And what we're gonna do here, instead of there's a way to we could have made this cool with like different pages and different fragments showing different things. We're gonna just print out different things so you could see that when you switch between the different buttons, it does get a different value. So what we put out here is hi child, and here is hi adult. Hopefully the stream people could have heard me. And yeah, so let's actually go ahead and run that. So again, when to run your code, you press the green arrow on top, and if you have your emulator, then that'll allow for you to run it. So we're going to open up here. Let's see. Hopefully this does work. And what we're doing is that we're printing out the values, right? So how do we do that? We'll check our, we check, it should just be our run. Where is it? 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 Aha, here. System.out, hi adult. Because I had pressed on the adult section, which is hello, which I really should rename to adult. But when you press on this button, it prints out hi adult. So you see that the button is actually working. And if you were to press on child, hi child shows up. So that shows that these buttons do work. And if I were to perchance put these things on the screen, then it would, I can't do all of that right now. But if you were to instead of putting these on a print statement, you would have perchance put a text view. Remember, that's a way how you view text, and just set the text to something specific when you press a button, then it'll work the same way as well. And in that same way, instead of so you could do text values. You could also expand to all sorts of things. You could do images. You could do anything. Colors. But most importantly, this is an important way on how we switch between pages, which we'll use with fragments. Does that make sense? Is anyone confused?
Any questions?
How did you get it to the bottom? I didn't see that one. How did you put it in the bottom?
Bottom navigation. How do you do the bottom?
Does it only go to the bottom when it runs, or is it?
No, because
Oh.
his bottom navigation is like here. So he's asking how you
Things
went
talk
down
about
from
the
there.
console.
Oh, wait. Let me see.
It's on the. Yeah, you're looking at the console.
What do you mean? Oh, here. I could show you. So if you want to, if you were to have this running.
I'm saying, like, when it runs, does it go to the bottom, or did you move it to the?
Oh no, it will go to the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it'll work. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
just.
run it right now, but
Yeah. Trust, and we'll help you out too. But it will go to the bottom. Yeah, I didn't change anything specifically for that. That's our live coding demo session for now. Anyone have any wrapping up questions before we wrap the coding section part up?
Questions?
If not,
No? Awesome.
Gucci gang.
So
Please always
there's
do message in
just
the
a
Discord
little-
though.
We're gonna be here for like 5-10 more minutes. I just have to cover a little something. Can I get the mic?
Yeah.
Thank you. Awesome job. Alright, so now we're gonna talk about some types of views. We used text view, we didn't use text view, but we spoke about text view. And I'll just give a really quick run through about three specific views that we will be using for our project, right? So these are pretty commonly used views. One of them being the grid view, which as you can see is kind of used when you're working with pictures and like kind of when you're dealing with gallery, right? Another is recycler view, which is very important view you'll be using a lot, because if you don't use recycler view, your page would be static. It won't be moving at all whatsoever. You can't scroll, right? So a lot of times what we do is we'll use recycler view with other stuff as well. Like for example, you can use recycler view with grid view. So if you have multiple pictures, you can just like scroll through it. That's how recycler view would be using. And then we have card view, right? So card view is basically if you want to put something in your cards themselves. This is actually a screenshot from one of the applications I was working with in summer. Yeah. Yes. So basically I use card views and I worked with the API, like calling the enemy name, the quotes, and then the characters, right? But because I wanted them to stand out and be separate, I put them in a card. And I also use a recycler view, so it's not just one static page and I can just like scroll through it. Per page it was like 10 random codes, but yeah, so these are basically very important views you will be working with. Apart from that, yes, go ahead.
Can you combine them?
Yes. So they are combined, you can very easily combine them. Like this one, this is actually combined with card view and recycler view. And this actually is also combined with the recycler view because you can see like these pictures are actually cut off, but if you were to scroll them, you can actually see the whole thing, right? And then these are all kinds of other views we have. We will be actually sending you guys a link with all types of views you want to look at, and you might want to see which one you want to use for your application. So, yeah. All right. So the fun part, right? Code Lab. So we'll be sending you guys this link on the mobile channel on Discord. And we want you guys to do the Unit 2, Lesson 4, that will be dealing with all these things. See, you'll be dealing with the recycle view. We want you to really get comfortable with the recycle view, as almost all of your pages will be containing it, right? Yes. And thank you all for coming. And whoever did not get to take their attendance, please sign up. Scan it so you can take your attendance, and you will get points for that.
Yeah, you just scan the QR
Mm-hmm. Also, remember for Code Lab, whenever you're done with your lessons, send us the screenshot either to me, Kunza-chan on Discord, or Luna-chan. I don't know, whatever shows up. And and Azarius on Discord. Send us the screenshots. You will be getting points for these. And you'll be learning from it as you go. Oh, sorry. I never changed it here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, guys. And I'll be ending the stream in a minute. If anyone have any questions, please ask.
Potato troll Kunza-chan.
Yes.
You're Luna-chan.
Yeah, that's like my actual Discord name, but on server I'm Potato Troll Kunza-chan. Cause I'm a troll, as Buster says. It won't scan? Interesting. Alright guys, Bye. How do you end it? Oh, you have an Android, right?